Hi everybody, this is Diane and I am here to show the finished Raggedy Ann journals, the last two Raggedy Ann journals. These are the last two journals that are being claimed by people. After this, no journals will be claimed. They will go in the shop and I will do videos and let you know what day and what time they will be listed. But these two are already claimed, but let me just show them to you. This one is Raggedy Ann and Andy and the Rainy Day Circus, and this is created with a little golden book. My daughter, well, I loved Raggedy Ann, so I bought all the Raggedy Ann golden books. I used to buy golden books every week at the grocery store for my kids, because this one was only 89 cents. So that's probably about the time I was buying them. So that was a nice little fun thing for the kids on grocery day. So we had this one and she loved it, and so did I. But I like the bright green, the lime green color back here, and I used this green fabric on the spine, and I sewed 3 signatures in with buttons, and the back is just plain. I used this multicolor rickrack. There is a hitch fastener and a hair tie to close it. There are book corners on it. This, I think it was this book, didn't need them as much as the other book did, but I put them on both. And there's this green kind of sparkly trim on the inside. I used images from the old design shop, also images cut right out of books, and some from another place, I think. Anyway, let's just go through and see what we have. This one is from a book, and I put some lace on it and I sewed it on as a pocket, and this is from the old design shop. And there's a feed sack fabric tab with a little purple button on it. Coffee dyed paper on the back for journaling. Some lace on the edge. This is just a notepad, like a list pad. I trimmed it to make it shorter and put it on there, and there's a little image cut from one of the books. So this book, 1973, I was not buying books for my children that early. I was still in high school. This one had a couple of tears, so I put some pretty washi tape on it. And here's a fabric flip. This is just some really pretty calico fabric, and this is a hexagon that I got from Fabric Thread Needle, Jennifer's shop on Etsy, and then some trim there. Coffee dyed paper. I did do some stamping in the corners of some of the pages, and I put in a few of the quotes from books. It is wonderful what a kiss will do, said Raggedy Andy. There's another image cut from one of the books, and it's stapled up there with a scrap of scrapbook paper. Here we have 2 little cards. This came from a Raggedy Ann game that I bought at a thrift store, and apparently the object was to collect cards until you had enough to complete the picture. So I'm going to, if you didn't see the previous video, I'm going to leave that there and I'll build the puzzle. So I put this little pocket here to put those pieces in. This is a cute little sheet from a notepad that someone sent me with Raggedy Ann and Andy sitting on a bench. Bead sack fabric here from Jennifer's shop, and some pretty pink and white trim. This is from the old design shop. Marcella and her dolls having a tea party. That's not the one I put in here, is it? It is. I'll have to swap that out. I'll use it later in the book. I just don't want them so close together. And this one is just a colored tag that I did with, I'm not sure, maybe my Artezas, I'm not sure. From a book. This is some vintage grid paper. And here's an envelope in the center of the signature, and it says, "For every time you do something nice for someone, you feel a glow of sunshine inside you." Here is a cut-off piece of scrapbook paper, and I just folded it and rounded the corners, decorated it with some fabrics, and this is from the old design shop too. She has a set of postcards. And I glued it on these three edges, and then there's a place to tuck in an image there. I sewed this together wrong. There should be pages in between here. So I think the story will be out of order. I apologize for that. Here is some feed sack fabric and a little piece of an old doll dress with some embroidery on it. This is a part of that Raggedy Ann game. Here is a little pocket with a couple of cards inside for writing on. I made this pocket with my Cricut quite a while ago. It was in my stash. Get it back in there. And some felt pieces. This is just decorated. There's no pocket here. This is a page from my old book from Raggedy Ann and the Wishing Pebble. Pardon me. Okay, here's another page from a book, and there's a piece of antique lace up here. I know what I'll do. I'll just switch these. And then put that one back where it was. That way the same image isn't so close to each other. There's Mrs. Muskrat. Looks like she's on a mission. This is a piece of printed quilt fabric, and this is a little piece of this quilt. This quilt. There's a little scrap here, and a piece of feed sack fabric. There's a flip. Some stamping. And in this pocket is an image from the book, which I didn't back, because you can see another picture and some of the words from the book, this little card, and a Raggedy Ann paper doll. And here are the next two puzzle pieces. We've got her feet. Now we've got her middle. They're making taffy in this picture. She's hanging up to dry here. This is from the old design shop. This is from a book. This has a little tiny brown envelope on it, and I glued on this little tiny card, little children's card. Someone sent me a bunch of these recently in a Happy Mail. It says Cheeky Puppy, and I have this little miniature playing card in there. And then behind it, the same person sent me these Questo cards. I love the size of these, so I tucked that in behind it. And then just a scrap of the coffee dyed paper for writing on. Here's a quote. It says, "Then Raggedy Andy jumped from his chair and wound up the little music box. 'Let's start with a lively dance,' he cried." Marcella was playing doctor. This goes like that. Again, it's a cut-off piece. It has this old crocheted piece, very old, and I just sewed that down and sewed the postcard over it. There's some cheesecloth and a very wide rickrack, and then there's a book page in here. This is her giving her, Marcella, giving her dolls medicine when she's playing doctor, and I love what it said on the back. I love that part of the story. It's so cute, so I just left that so you can read it. Here's a little glassine bag with, I think that's a little brownie from the book, and a tag that I colored. These were with my Arteza markers. This is a piece of quilt patchwork piece. It wasn't quilted. It wasn't backed or anything. And some bead sack fabric scraps and a little piece of trim. Well, that's in here 3 times. I love that image. So I am going to replace one of them with something from the other book, because that one probably doesn't have one. This one has a felt frame around it. She's all dirty. I wonder what kind of mischief she got into that day. All kinds of things happened to Raggedy Ann and Andy. There's Mr. Muskrat with Raggedy Ann and Andy looking on. Bead sack fabric. But there were no lollipops growing at our kitchen door, said Mr. Muskrat, for I came in and went out of the kitchen door many times, and if the lollipops had been growing there, I know I would have seen them. Well, I think I would see lollipops growing by my door. Here's the mischief maker. I don't know what he's up to, but he's got Raggedy Ann and Andy caught on a fishing hook. There's a little bird watching. They're dancing in the air with some fairies. That didn't get glued down. Oh, I think it was glued down, and then I trimmed it shorter, so I have to glue that end again. And Raggedy Andy suggested, very often we do not know how many creatures and even people do kind things for us in quiet ways. A couple of cards. This is another puzzle from the game, and it's only got 3 pieces, and I put them all in that envelope, and it's a witch. She's from the Raggedy Ann stories, so I included that in there, and a couple of other cards. And here are the final 2 cards for the puzzle. So you have 6 cards to put together that puzzle. Bead sack fabric flip. I love that. And I only had one like 6 by 6 square of it. So one of them went into one of the other books, and then this one got the other piece. And some more felt pieces here. And there she is holding the wishing pebble. And then this book is for Diane. The Diane with 2 ends. That's what when we message each other, it's Diane with 2 ends and Diane with 1 end. So this one is a wonder book, Raggedy Ann's Secret. And again, I used that green. It went well with both covers, even though both covers are very different. Yellow, a golden yellow rickrack here, and some more buttons on the spine. These buttons were kind of bigger for the most part, so I didn't do any buttons down the center because they just kind of get in each other's way. So it's pretty much the same layout. I'll just go through it quickly. Well, this one is backed with watercolor paper, quite heavy, and I colored that with my Arteza markers. I did a video on coloring those tags and things. Sugar and water, if taken in small quantities, would not give the dolls colic, Marcella would tell them, but she did not know that it made their cotton or sawdust insides quite sticky. That was when she was playing doctor. So there's puzzle pieces there. That game came with 4 sets of those puzzle pieces. So I made 4 journals, so they all got a set. Your mouths are painted on, and your shoe button eyes can't close. This is the title page from the journal, the book that I use for my journal, Raggedy Ann and the Happy Meadow. Look at that cute little mushroom village down there, and there's room for writing on the back. This book was from 1961. This is from the old design shop, and I just printed it on a full sheet and used it as a page. It's another cutoff, and in here is a picture of Fido. This is from the old design shop. There's a little sack here with a card inside. Thank you. A lot of you tell me that you say bless you every time I sneeze, so I'm saying thank you. Some P-tack fabric and a piece of lace that I wound some ribbon through. A piece of that game spinner. This is when she's playing doctor and they're all in their little beds. This is a card that someone stamped and sent to me. The same person who sent me these and the little cards that look like that. There's Raggedy Ann when she got paint dumped on her head. That's from the old design shop, and those pictures you see of her hanging on the line to dry are probably from that story. Looks like Mr. Muskrat got caught on his own hook. Or no, that was the other guy it was the bad guy with the hook. This is Mr. Muskrat, and he got caught. I didn't read that story. There's some felt pieces here, and second signature. She's flying on a kite tail from the old design shop. Some P-tack fabric, little banners that I cut out, and a little image. I love that little guy. He's so cute. More puzzle pieces and a coffee dyed tag. Glassine bag, and there's a little Raggedy Ann tag there, and there's one that I colored. And this one says, Raggedy Andy took off his cap and scratched his head with a little stick, but he could not think of anything to do. This one has the witch cards in it, and then this card. I would switch this one out here, but I'm pretty sure this one was in that other book too. This is something that someone sent me, and it's a story illustration, but if you can see, the little girl is wearing her pajamas and carrying her dolls, and one of her dolls is Raggedy Ann. This is a tag I colored, and I just glued it to some green polka dot paper and cut it out. This is the one I did upside down. I put the tab on the wrong side because she should be hanging upside down. Hurrah for Raggedy Ann, cried Raggedy Andy generously. She won. Some cards in here. This is Uncle Clem, the Scott doll. Mrs. Muskrat is crying. What a nice portrait of the Raggedies and the Muskrats. I glued this on as a pocket and added some of the felt embellishments in this little cutout. This is for journaling. Here's another of the little brown envelopes, and I just cut a little tag to put inside it, just a little scrap of paper. Okay, so those are the 2 books that will be going in the shop for my 2 customers. The next books I'm going to start, I'm looking forward to doing some books without a theme. So, oh, sorry. Oh dear, I'm tired today. I'm tired every day. So I'm looking forward to that. I have the weekend to clean up my mess because I worked all week long doing these books and getting those textile bundles in my shop. And that took up most of my time. So I've got to clean up the aftermath of doing all that bundling and listing and everything, and then clean up my craft room from doing these. So hopefully Monday I'll be ready to start on my new set of journals, and I'll probably bring you with me for some of it anyway. So I will see you soon. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.